Today marks a historic moment in old school RuneScape. The terrifying new spider boss, Araxxor, has just dropped, and the adventure begins now. If you're like me, you're itching to dive into the fray and take on this monstrous spider. Let's face it, we're all still figuring out how to tackle this beast. This is your day one survival guide. A no-nonsense walkthrough designed to get you through your first kill and to help you make sense of this chaos. We'll break down the basics, cover essential strategies, and give you the tips you need to stay alive while you learn the ropes. Gear up, follow along, and let's conquer Araxxor together. Hit that subscribe button, and let's tackle this spider boss head on. Your first kill is just around the corner. Welcome to my video. I'm Tomb Goblin, and it's time to kill Araxxor. Araxxor's lair is located in the southeast most part of Port Phasmatis. The Ectophile is by far your best means of getting there. After teleporting with the Ectophile, you will run south, following the path through the town, passing both ghostly barriers, and following the path until you arrive at the cave. Your highest strength bonus equipment is usually your go-to, as I believe ending the fight faster is better than any defense. I would not consider wearing glass cannon equipment such as void armors, though I'm sure it can be done, into the room, as Araxxor seems to hit pretty high through prayer. Being of course weak to crush, I have no doubt the Scythe of Vitter will be your best in slot weapon for the encounter. For anybody balling on a budget much like myself, I could not recommend the use of the zombie axe enough, set to crush. For a few million gold, this sucker packs a hell of a punch and will constantly thank you and your wallet. The Osmutton's Fang, though of course not a crush weapon, had no problem tearing through Araxxor's thick carapace, and again, comes with a price tag that's hard to ignore. When it comes to learning the fight, I recommend bringing the Amulet of Blood Fury, as the healing properties it could provide make for an ideal item in a new bossing environment. As far as inventory, we're going to be bringing the Book of Darkness for Thralls, to increase our damage per second and to decrease our kill time. You'll also be bringing a minimum of a super combat potion, an anti-venom plus, and a stamina potion, as there's a long way to the boss fight and there's lots of running inside the room. You will of course want to be carrying your Ectophile as your primary teleport method to the encounter, as well as 2 to 3 prayer potions to boot. I personally choose to carry the Bracelet of Slaughter into the room, as it gives the chance to have a kill not count towards my Slayer kill count and hopefully increase the overall length of my Slayer task in turn. As far as special attack weapons go, the Bandos Godsword would be considered proper practice to bring into the room, but as the final phase of the fight turns out to be a relative DPS check, I opt for bringing my affordable Burning Claws, which seems to rake through the flesh of the spider quite nicely, helping me seal and secure the kill. Now that we've gone through our equipment and our inventory, let's take a look at the fight. Araxxor attacks with both magic and melee, using magic if the player is out of melee range. It will use melee otherwise, and both can hit through protection prayers. Alongside these attacks, Araxxor has its own special attacks, acid pools. Araxxor will launch a single green projectile onto the player, causing them to drip venom for 6 ticks. Acid bomb. Araxxor will launch large charge-up projectile that flies in a straight line from Araxxor's direction. Being in the bomb's trajectory will deal 18 venom damage, and it also drips venom in the location it was fired. This will explode upon hitting a wall, which then splatters a large area from the impact zone. Upon reaching 25% of its health, Araxxor will let loose a screech. Its standard melee attacks are now replaced with targeted AoE attacks. These attacks are called Acid Cleave. This attack will leave a 1x3 poison splatter in the direction he is facing every time he attacks. Protect from melee will mitigate some of the damage if hit. It also gains plus 35 defense upon successfully hitting you. Now that you've been debriefed with all of the information on Araxxor currently available, it's time to take a step into the boss room. The small Araxxite eggs all around the outside of the room can be slain before they hatch, at the cost of time. The green acidic Araxxite hits with low damaging range attacks that leave behind pools of venom that you have to avoid for the rest of the encounter. I like to leave this little bitch alone. After hatching from its egg, the red Araxxite will hone in on the player and explode within a few tiles of you. Best dealt with by trying to lure the red spider underneath Araxxor, where you will benefit by means of a kamikaze style explosion and 80 free damage. And then there's the mirrorback spider, who will take the damage you would usually deal to Araxxor and reflect it back to you if you're standing too close to it. Best way to deal with the mirrorback Araxxor is to take it out from afar with a ranged weapon, such as a heavy ballista. And now that I think about it, I'm sure a well-placed vengeance would also do the trick. Let's step now into the boss room where I can properly showcase for you everything I've learned so far. Alright, first things first, make sure you toggle your overhead protect from melee before stepping foot into the Araxxor hive. In attempts to take Araxxor down as quickly as possible, I personally opt against destroying the eggs at the beginning of the fight. Like most things new in and outside of Gielinor, practice makes perfect. Putting yourself in the boss room is the best way to help shake those new boss nerves. Obviously, I choose to ignore the acidic Araxxor in the corner of the room, as destroying it would do nothing but give me more acid to dodge while trying to kill Araxxor. It's important to remember that the Araxxor hatchlings will hatch in a different order every fight, much like Araxxor's special attacks. Well, that's gonna be a wrap. Please enjoy the rest of my example kill, and be sure to eviscerate those like and subscribe buttons if you have not already. And consider becoming a channel member, where you will be recognized at the end of every one of my videos, and you'll gain access to my members only content and many other cool benefits. Until the next time, boys, Tomb Goblin out.